Welcome to AU Nation. I'm your host this week, JJ Jackson. Evan Blank cannot be with us today. We are here to bring you the latest opinions from the Auburn Student Media Group. Joining me today first is Meredith Brito. She's a Weagle 91.1 FM sports analyst that calls Auburn softball games as well, and she also has a radio show called The Extra Point. Meredith, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well. We've been having really nice weather this week, and it's been a really great week so
Good
far.
stuff, good stuff. Next we have Jelani, just call him Lonnie Baptiste. He also is a WEGL 91.1 analyst who hosts a show called The Fifth Quarter on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock. How are you today, Jelani?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain. It's nice outside. Baseball season is having fun.
Spring has definitely sprung, and last but certainly not least, we have a good friend of mine, Noah Gardner, who is a sports analyst and host of GH Sports on Weagle 91.1 FM, and he calls the softball and soccer games for Weagle as well. Noah, how you doing today?
Doing great, JJ. How are you?
I am doing so well. Excited to host this show for you. Hopefully I do as well as Evan has done over these past couple of weeks. Let's get started. We will begin today in college basketball on the men's side. Both men and women basketball teams look to the SEC tournament for a silver lining after a disappointing couple of losses. What does Auburn have to do to pull off these wins throughout the SEC tournament? Meredith, we'll start with you.
Well, I think that the women's team's been doing okay. They've had a rough couple of last few games, but I think that they have the ability to pull themselves together. And, Katie Ferking's had a couple of really good games, but the men's team's really been struggling. I don't know if they will be able to pull it together, especially how they played on the road in some of the past few games. So I don't really see them having any chance of winning very many games in the SEC tournament, but I think the women's team can as long as they stay healthy and they keep having that confidence they've had and don't drop their heads down too low.
Well, on the other side of things, I believe that Auburn, the men's team, has been improving a lot lately. The offense seems to be running a lot more fluidly, a lot of great ball movement. People are starting to hit down their shots, and they don't look as intimidated on the road. They did have a 10-point lead over Alabama and beat Arkansas on the road in the past couple of weeks. I've been really impressed with them, and this team's beginning to look a lot more like they did last season heading into the SEC tournament. Some close losses and some really tight victories, and maybe, just maybe, they could pull something off in the SEC tournament. Obviously, they're probably not going to win it. But I think with good ball movement and this improved defensive outlook that they've had recently, I really think Auburn's got a chance on the men's side of things.
I kind of agree with both sides of what both of you guys said, but I think both teams have a really good chance in the SEC tournament. The women's team, they're 18-11 right now, so they're still in a really good position. They need one win to have 19 wins, which can honestly get them a bid to the NCAA tournament. And they've had two losses recently to Texas A&M and to Florida, which are two ranked teams, and they had a lead on both of them going into the fourth quarter. So they haven't been playing bad. They just, they blew some games they probably could have won. I wouldn't say they should have won those games, but they could have won them. And on the other side of things, you have the men's basketball team that, yes, like you said, they've been playing really well recently. They've gotten into a really great flow offensively. Getting T.J. Dunning back's really helped. Simeon has done a good job when he was needed to be at point, but I think overall they can get a winner, one or more two wins this season at the SEC tournament because they'll probably play on the first day and play a really weak team.
And to continue with the women's, I think they're two wins away in the SEC tournament from an NCAA tournament bid just because of how they've been losing their games with turnovers. That doesn't look good, and it's not indicative of a tournament team at the moment. But I still think with a lot of their resume that they have had over the year, they're a lock if they can win two in the SEC tournament.
I agree.
It'll be tough for them to win two because if they win their first game, they're playing South Carolina, the number 2 team in the nation. So.
The women's SEC tournament will begin this Thursday. They take on Missouri Thursday morning, and then the men will finish out their regular season this weekend before beginning SEC tournament play next week. We're heading over to Auburn softball right now, and they are rolling. However, they did drop a game to James Madison and Clearwater, Florida last week. How would you rate their performance through these first stretch of games? Noah, we'll start with you.
A++++. I mean, can I add more pluses? They're phenomenal. Their one loss to James Madison. Well, James Madison's now the 10th ranked team in the nation in the updated polls. They're a great softball team. Auburn's not letting off the gas. They're destroying teams offensively, and then the pitching staff is just as hard to figure out for opposing teams. This squad looks as good as ever.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You can't give them too many pluses for that A. You look at that team right now. Yes, they've lost one game, but they've also scored 194 runs this season. How many have the opponent score? 16. So they're destroying teams. There's people on the team that have more RBIs than the teams have scored against our team. The lowest batting average of a day-to-day player, is 343. So this
that's
is
just
that's a
incredible.
really good team. I think they have a lot going for them, and how would I grade them? I would grade them way better than last year, and that's saying a lot.
Yes, and you talked about their batting order, and that's been really, really strong. But you also look at their defense, and their defense has been incredible. And like you said, they've only allowed so many runs in these games. Like they blew out some of their recent opponents, which is just incredible. I would give them an A+ as well.
The softball team will play in the Wilson DeMarini Classic here in Auburn this weekend. After this break, we're going to come back and talk sports at the national level. This is AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
From the moment we met, I knew we belonged together. I could tell right from the start that I was melting your heart, purring while you pet me, winding around your feet, and getting to just chill out with you. It felt perfect. But I don't know what just happened. Why am I in a cage, and who are these other sad animals? Where am I? They say I might get a new home. How can I get a new home when our bond was so special? What did I do wrong? How can you have given me up?
Welcome back to AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6. Let's move over to the national side of sports. And in the NBA, LeBron James, boy, I tell you, he always has critics. However, did you see this lady tell him to suck it up? Let's take a look at this video.
Collins, Kevin Scott, Jason
Yep,
Phillips
see, you
converse.
just said the sweet move.
Timeout taken here.
So she is not happy with the way LeBron is arguing with these referees. Do you guys agree with her? Jelani, we'll start with you.
I really don't have to say much here. Yes, I get really annoyed with NBA players in general complaining after a call. You're not going to get them to overturn the call. So just, like she said, suck it up and keep playing basketball. LeBron, you're one of the best players in the league. There's really no need for you to sit here and argue with this call. Just, hey, go to the ref like, hey, just look out for this foul and keep it moving. That's it.
I wish we had said something about that when our intramural team, complained in a lot of calls this season. But, I think it's just one of those things where in the heat of the moment, you want to call. I mean, obviously players are very emotional, and it's not just the NBA. It's every sport, and that's just in the heat of the moment. So I think this lady just chill out. How rude of her to do something like that to the greatest player in the league.
I mean, I'm pretty neutral about it, but I do think players need to realize sometimes how ridiculous it is when you are complaining about a call. I mean, refs are kind of going to stick to their ways, and the only person that can really challenge or review anything is the coach. So I think the coach kind of would be the only person that could go up to the ref and say, hey, can you review that? Or, hey, can you check that out again? But I don't know. I think it's okay for players sometimes to try and get them to notice something, but I don't think that they should overreact about things like that. It kind of makes them look like crybabies.
Hey, man. Me personally, I think at the end of the day, LeBron's LeBron. He will get his calls. So, it's one thing if it was like some, bench player that'll never get a call. But LeBron, you're going to get your fair share of calls. Just accept this one as a bad call. Or, maybe it was a good call. But just accept this one and you'll get one next time.
No matter what, King James, just realize that I have your back and I support you going forward throughout your career. You're my guy. And so now we'll move on to our next topic. The NFL season is over. However, conversations have started back up with the combine going on and the draft right approaching us. Should the NFL give the New England Patriots their first-round pick back? Noah, let's start with you.
Well, first of all, the Wells report was it's complete hokum and garbage. Okay, the Patriots deserve their picks back. Science proves that footballs deflate in cold weather, and it happened this year again in several games. I mean, I think this is absurd. Give them their picks back. The Tom Brady suspension, reduced or gone completely. I mean, this is ridiculous.
See, I agree with you in the sense of how it was ridiculous, but you cannot give the picks back if you're the NFL. It will make you look extremely bad.
Yes.
You have to stand your ground and do, hey, look, we made this decision. This is what we're sticking with. this is how it has to go. Yes, I agree. It was ridiculous. They should have never taken any picks in the first place. But if you turn around and say, oh, well, we made the wrong decision, I don't think we want to do this anymore, it will make you look worse than it already has. And Roger Goodell has already gone under so much criticism for some of the things he has done. So I think they need to go ahead and say, well, you're out of a pick this year. We might have made a mistake, but there's nothing we can do about it now.
Yes, and they kind of already compromised a little by letting Tom Brady come back and play without being suspended at all. But I kind of think there's some skepticism even for me, and I do like the Patriots. The fact that why were only their balls underinflated? The Colts were playing in the same weather. Why weren't theirs underinflated as well? So that's my only rebuttal, but I think the NFL just needs to stick to their ground and keep with their policies, because if not, Roger Goodell's not going to look like the tough commissioner he should be.
I mean, do what's right in this situation, though. The NFL already looks extremely weak. I mean, they handled the Ray Rice situation with blindfolds on, and then all of a sudden they're magnifying glass over the Patriots. They've looked weak this entire time. They really just need to do what's right in this situation.
I definitely agree with you. They handle certain situations really bad. The Alden Smith situation and how he should have been suspended way earlier. But, you know, hey, this is how it's going to go.
The NFL is always in the headlines, and I think it'll stay that way for a long, long time coming. We'll move on. Spring training baseball is right upon us. What do you guys look forward to the most about baseball this upcoming season? Meredith, let's start with you.
Well, for me, being from Atlanta, I'm just really hoping the Braves can pull it through a little bit. Everyone's kind of predicting that they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. So if they can pull it out a little bit and not finish last in the division again, I'd be a little excited about that. But I think a lot of people are also excited to see how the Chicago Cubs are going to play.
You know, I'm excited about going to the ballpark, you know. Sunflower seeds, boiled peanuts. I mean, it's the best time of the year. I love to watch the games and be a part of the broadcast, you know, getting to listen to some of the great announcers coming back. But it's America's pastime. Let's get excited about a lot of the great teams looking to continue their success from last year, like the Astros, the Royals once again, and the Blue Jays. I think there are a lot of talented AL teams, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Hey, man, before we even get to regular season, I'm really excited to continue seeing what Yoenis Cespedes is doing with these cars and different things coming into spring training games. He rode a horse the other day to a game. Like, what is he doing? He's just, you know, being hilarious. But no, I'm really excited for the season. I think there's going to be really a lot of tough divisions this year. The NL Central, I think, is going to be an amazing division to keep up with the Cardinals and the Cubs. I'm excited for the AL East. I think the Red Sox, Yankees, and the Toronto Blue Jays all have really strong teams. Honestly, the Yankees may not be as strong as the other two, but I do believe that the Toronto and the Red Sox will have a good battle for that division. And I'm also excited for the San Francisco Giants. You know, they've won the World Series every year since 2010, 12, 14, or it's an even year. It's 2016. We never know. They could win it again.
The Giants did make a lot of improvements this offseason. You're right, Jelani, bringing over Johnny Cueto, who was the MVP of the World Series this past season, or excuse me, Salvador Perez was, but Johnny Cueto was very impressive for the Kansas City Royals. Baseball's back. We're very excited. Coming up next, however, we're playing our favorite game. It's Firing Blanks. You're watching AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you, but the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Welcome back to AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6. I'm the host today, JJ Jackson, and we're about to play our favorite game show here, Firing Blanks, where I'm going to ask our analysts a series of 5 questions, and whoever has the most questions right will get a chance to go on and answer our point-blank question and be crowned champion for today. You guys ready to play?
I mean,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
No
Meredith,
time to
we are
redeem
going
yourself.
to start with you. Meredith, tell me, who was the MVP for the past season in the NFL?
The past season, not this season,
The 2015-2016 season that just ended.
Tom Brady.
This player quite possibly perhaps tweeted his retirement during the Super Bowl. Who is that?
Marshawn Lynch.
The NBA's demands were not met, so the association held its annual All-Star game. In this very special edition, the fellows from the West won, amassing this many points in the process.
The West.
How many points did the West
Oh.
score in the All-Star game?
211.
Earlier in the weekend, while Klay Thompson upset his teammate Steph Curry for the three-point title, a player from this team won the wildly entertaining slam dunk contest.
I always forget his name.
I'm looking for the team, not his name.
Pass.
And your last question, HBO announced a series in which it will follow the tournament fixture as they try to make it to March Madness this season. So what team will HBO follow throughout March Madness this season?
Duke. I don't know.
Meredith, you got 1 out of 5 correct. Cam Newton was the MVP this season.
Oh, I thought you said the year
196.
before. Not the.
I said
asked
the season that had just ended.
Oh.
2015, 16.
196 points were scored in the All-Star game. Zach LaVine of the Timberwolves won the dunk contest, and Wichita State will be chronicled throughout March Madness.
The Shockers.
Jelani,
Need
it
more
is your turn. Are you ready, Lonnie?
Hey, I'm ready, man.
Here we go. This high-profile school's athletic director stepped down, ending the dumpster fire of his tenure at this school. What school recently had their AD step down?
Missouri?
Second question, break out your penalty box counting fingers because Calgary Flames defenseman Dennis Weidman earned a suspension this week, totaling this number of games. How long was his suspension?
12 games. Hockey.
For those of you who hate NFL football on Thursday night, well, tough, said the league, which announced that this TV network is being added to the broadcasting mix. Thursday night is currently broadcasted on CBS. Which new broadcasting team will be a part of Thursday Night Football?
ESPN, NFL Network, somebody.
And fans of old-time football were saddened to hear that this classic quarterback was diagnosed with CTE.
I'm not even going to wish that on anybody. I don't know. I'll pass.
Please step forward if you were announced as new inductees to the NFL Hall of Fame. Whoa, not so fast. So who was left out of the Hall of Fame this season? Big name that was left out.
Hey, I don't know. I do not know.
Lonnie, we have had better days, my friend. The athletic director that stepped down was at USC.
USC. Oh.
Weidman was suspended for 20 games. NBC will now be a part of
NBC.
Thursday Night Football. Ken Stabler was diagnosed with CTE, and Terrell Owens was left out of the Hall of Fame. Noah, 1 out of 5 is the mark right now. Let's see how you fare, my friend. National Signing Day came and went, and there was much rejoicing, especially for fans of this football factory who secured the services of consensus #1 prospect Rashawn Gary. What school did he commit to?
Michigan.
In exciting college basketball news, earlier this season, this school became unranked in basketball for the first time since 2007.
Duke.
Are we serious?
The Dukies aren't the only ones feeling their lumps. Kentucky lost when they blew a 21-point lead to fall to this SEC opponent.
I am going to say Vanderbilt.
And history of sorts were made on this past Saturday, as both #1 and 2 lost to unranked opponents on the same day. Can you remember who beat Oklahoma and North Carolina?
North Carolina was beaten by Virginia, and Oklahoma was beaten by, I'm going to have to go with Iowa State.
And this perennial basketball power is sending itself to the room to think about what it's done. They self-imposed a postseason ban on them this season.
Louisville.
Noah Gardner, my friend, you are the champion today. Kentucky blew the lead against Tennessee, and Oklahoma lost to Kansas State, so your score would have been a 3.5 on today's show. So you get to move on and answer point blank. Last week, this NCAA basketball team enjoyed being ranked #1 for the first time in school history.
Well, first of all, this is a first for me. I've never been to this question before, and I feel very
Congratulations
privileged.
on making it to this point.
And you said last week they were ranked for the first time?
Yes.
Villanova.
Villanova is correct. Villanova is correct. Noah Gardner, our point-blank question. Round of applause for you, my friend. We are headed at firing blanks. You got the point-blank question right. Congratulations. We're going to take our last commercial break. When we come back, it's the burning question on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
Boys will be boys.
Well, she was drunk.
Well, he was drunk.
She was asking for it. He warned her.
Not my problem.
Why doesn't she just leave? But he's such a nice guy.
He said he was sorry.
We don't talk about that.
It's just the way people are.
We're never going to fix it.
No more excuses.
No more silence.
No more violence.
It's time to end domestic violence and sexual assault once and for all.
Welcome back to AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6. It is time for the burning question. Major League Baseball has suspended Henry Mejia for life for PEDs. All major sports struggle with a PED epidemic, and they handle them differently. Should the NFL, NHL, and NBA and other major sports follow the MLB and have the 3-strike rule and you're out? Noah, let's start with you.
Well, I'm staunchly against this. I see where they're coming from, okay? I mean, 3 times, and there's obviously needs to be a really, really severe penalty at that point. But something about the definitiveness of saying you're gone for life, you can't coach, you can't be around the game anymore, that bothers me. Because each incident or whatever you want to call it is different. Each situation is different. So I don't like them taking one definitive stance for all cases in PEDs.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Just getting rid of somebody from the game for life is absolutely ridiculous. It's one thing to say you can no longer play. I think if they said you can't play the game anymore, then I'm like, all right, I'm for that. Coaching, managing, whatever it may be, then I think, no, that's ridiculous. He should be able to still coach Major League Baseball if he wanted to. A lot of teams may not even pick him, but that he should still be able to coach Major League Baseball or manage Major League Baseball. As for other sports, I definitely don't like the 3 and out. When are we really seeing people on PEDs in the NBA and the NFL? And even if they are on them, they handle it your own way. Don't automatically copy what the Major League Baseball is doing, because it's really not working well for them either, because Major League Baseball has the most people getting caught using it, so it's clearly not working that well for them.
Yes, and I kind of agree with what you say. I think they should just be banned as far as playing. I don't think that they should be banned from managing or coaching or anything else. But I do kind of think that taking PEDs is kind of considered cheating, and I don't think that they should be allowed to play if they haven't followed the rules 3 times. But that's just me personally. But a lot of players, like you mentioned in the NFL and the NBA, sometimes once they're caught with PEDs even once, sometimes it's in their medication or something, they stop taking that medication, they don't get caught again. So, I mean, for me, if you're caught 3 times, I think you should be considered to be banned for life. But just as far as playing, not coaching or managing or anything else.
Well, the reason why I have a problem with that is, once again, like, it is a situation-by-situation basis. I mean, it could be in their medication and they not know it. Okay, now 3 times is a little bit, it's happening too much at that point. But this is something that all these guys know. Okay, so either allow players to use PEDs because it's not going away anytime soon, or don't. Okay, and find some other way to take this at a situation-by-situation basis. Because with these players, like, it could be destructive to them mentally, just be taken out of the game like that, and then you have a whole nother, bag of worms and consequences that come with that player individually. We need to be looking at more of a rehabilitation standpoint than a punishment standpoint. And I think that's like that for a lot of situations in sports at the moment.
Definitely, I
agree with that too. I think rehabilitation is a great idea.
I think it has to be a case-by-case scenario, like you're saying, Noah. Because if you're going to ban someone for life, I think that should be the same rule for everybody. But I don't think in the other sports you're having that many situations where somebody's getting banned 3 times or being punished 3 times for taking performance-enhancing drugs. So it's really not a conversation, because we're only seeing this one time in baseball, and I don't understand all the hoopla about this. If you cheat, get out of there. But if not, there's no need to talk about it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being on the show today. We really had a great time. I hope I was a good host for you. Evan Blank will return next week. That's it for AU Nation today. You can visit EagleEyeTV.com for more of AU Nation, and make sure to tune in next week, same time, same place. I'm JJ Jackson, and until next time, Auburn, remember, if you're hands down, man down. Steph Curry, keep amazing us every single night. Thank you, and good day.